Hello, my dear students. I hope that you all are well and healthy at home. Today, I am here to teach you people a lesson from the book Flamingo, and the title of the lesson is Lost Spring by Anish Jung. I have written here the date of birth of Anish Jung, who was born in the 1st of January 1944. At this time, she is 76 years old. Her most famous work is The Unveiling India, which was published in 1987. But we are not talking about that lesson. Now our lesson is here, Lost Spring. Let us first understand the title. What does the title say? Lost is the past participle of the verb lose. That means something missed. And the other word is spring. Spring means Basant Ritu. But here the spring means childhood. As you know that spring season is the most beautiful season. In that season, many beautiful flowers, many leaves are coming and the nature becomes alive. And spring season really keeps a very importance in the circling of the nature. Or we can say that without spring season, we can say that the earth will not exist at all. So here spring means childhood, and childhood is really a very important time of our life. When we grow in a proper way, and if our childhood is good, definitely we do better in our further life. So here the title says that the childhood which is lost. It is a fragment or an excerpt of stories of stolen childhood that was published in 23rd September 2005. Excerpt or fragment, I've written the word excerpt or fragment, both are similar, and they say that the part of the story. In this lesson we are going to study the childhood which is lost of the two children in two parts. In this video, we are going to study only the first part. And in the first part, the narrator talks about the childhood time of Saib, who is losing the beautiful time of her life in the garbage dumps. The lesson begins with a particular line, and the line is, sometimes I find a rupee in the garbage. Here I is Sahib. Sahib is a boy who used to pick the rags from the garbage heaps. To clarify this first part, I have written here 8 points, and in these 8 points I am to explain each and every point so that you can have a brief image or a clear-cut image of this lesson. And after explaining this lesson, I am to give you 8 questions of each point. So now I am to explain the first point, and the first point is the writer meets Saib and makes a false promise. Writer is living in nearby Delhi, and she every day goes somewhere. While she goes, she meets Saib every day in the morning. So she talks about one time when she meets Saib and makes a false promise. When the writer meets Saib, she finds him picking the garbage in a garbage heaps. Then the writer asks Saib, why do you do this? And after asking this question, she tells us about his background, that who is he, where has it come from. She tells everything. She tells us that Saib's parents have come from Dhaka in Bangladesh in the year 1971. They were compelled to leave their native land because in that time in 1971 there were many storms, and those storms swept away their homes and compelled them to leave their places, to leave their birthplaces, because they were forced or they were starving there. So they left their native places and they came to Delhi, and now they are just living in a place named Simakuri that resides on the outskirts of Delhi. The writer asks Saib a question, why do you do this? Now Saib answers, I have nothing else to do except picking the rags. Then the writer says to him that why don't you go to school? Then the Saib replies to the writer that there is no school in his neighborhood. Then the writer makes a false promise. If I build a school, will you come to my school? Saib becomes very happy after getting this proposal. So he becomes very happy and replies to the writer that if you build a school, I will certainly come to your school. In the second point, we see that in the second time when the writer is going somewhere and Saib is picking some garbage, when Saib looks at the lady or the writer, she goes to her running and asks her, is her school ready? When the writer listens these words from Saib, she becomes very embarrassed, or she feels very embarrassed, because while she made the promise, she was not serious and she had not fulfilled the promise. So she feels very much embarrassed over not fulfilling the promise that she has made to Saib in the first meeting. She also realizes here that the promises like her are abound in Saib's life, and Saib lives in a very dim or dark world where there is nothing but the hopelessness and the frustration. Saib lives a very misery life. In the next, I'm coming to the third point, and the third point is the irony in Saib's name. In the third meeting, the narrator asks Saib what his name is. Saib replies to the writer that his name is Saib Alam. Listening the full name of Saib, the writer becomes very surprised. She says to us that perhaps this wretched boy or poor boy Saib does not know the meaning of his name. His name declares that the Lord of the universe. But in real sense, Saib is a very poor boy, is a very wretched boy who has to pick the garbage just to survive. Irony, I have written the word irony. Irony means totally opposite in meaning. We can say that if somebody keeps a name ocean of knowledge, but in real sense he does not know how to read and write. So you can say that in his name there is a irony. So in the third meeting, writer notices the irony in Saib's name. Now I am coming to the fourth point, and the fourth point is that various excuses of not wearing footwear. Actually, Saib, along with other children who used to pick the rags from the different heaps of garbage daily morning, Writer meets Saif and the other children. Now she is very much familiar with those children. Now she asks a boy who is not wearing footwear. She asks the boy, why are you not wearing chappals? The boy answers to the writer that his mother does not bring them down from the shelf, so he is barefoot. The another boy adds the another sentence that if his mother brings them down, he will throw them off. Who is wearing the dismissed shoe in his foot? The third boy, there is a third boy who also tells the writer that he wants a pair of shoes. If he gets a pair of shoes, he used to wear them every day. So after hearing these excuses from the children of not wearing footwear, the writer comes to a conclusion that perhaps they are not wearing footwear because they lack money or they are very poor. They do not afford to buy slippers or footwear. But at the same time, writer says to us that when she used to visit different places of the country, she finds many children walking barefoot. When she asked them, she got the answer that it is the tradition of walking barefoot, that's why they are walking barefoot. But the writer tells us that perhaps it may be the poverty that does not lead them to wear footwear. In the fourth point, also she tells us a story of a boy of a priest family. And the boy is from Udupi. When he goes to school, he passes a temple. In that temple, his father was a priest. And perhaps at that time, the priest family, the member of the priest family, were not allowed to wear footwear. When the boy used to pass the temple, she stopped in front of the temple and prays to the goddesses to get him a pair of shoes. After 30 years, the writer went to the same place. She found the places around the temple desolated or mostly empty. She finds the boy of the priest of that time, and the boy is wearing shoes and slippers. So the writer here tells us that after 30 years, the condition of those priest family totally changed. Now the son of the priest family wearing shoes or the other shoes or slippers, but the condition of the life, like Sai and the other children in her neighborhood in Simapuri, has not changed yet. They are walking barefoot at present. Now I am coming to the fifth point. And the fifth point, I have written a line. She explains the situation of Simapuri and its people. Now the writer is very much familiar with those children who used to rap it. Now she goes to Simapuri, and while he is just walking to Simapuri, she sees the condition of that place. She tells us about the background of Simapuri. Simapuri is just residing on the periphery of Delhi. She tells us a sentence here that though Simapuri reside in Delhi, yet far away from Delhi. She means to say that Delhi is the capital of India, where there are very rich people, where the situation is very good. There are so many facilities and amenities people are enjoying. But in Simapuri, there is totally lack of all facilities and amenities there. She tells us one thing more, that earlier the place Simapuri used to be vacant, but now it is not vacant. The people are residing here, and the people from Bangladesh have come here and they are residing here, and they used to live there. She tells us that all the people residing in Simapuri are squatters. Squatters mean those people who occupy the land illegally or unlawfully. So she tells that all the people who used to reside in Simapuri and pick the garbage, all are squatters. she tells us one thing more, that the people of Simapuri have only means of survival is rag picking. All the people of Simapuri are totally dependent upon the rag picking, and the children along with their parents also do the same work, and with the passing of time the children also become very expert in doing the same work. So she says that if anyone wants to live in Simapuri, he has to pick the garbage, because the rag picking is the only source of survival there. Children and their parents, both the segment of the people do the same work, but the rag picking is vary from children to their parents. Parents do the rag picking only for the source of survival, but when children do it, they do it very curiously. Why do they eat very curiously? Because sometimes some of the children, like Sai, find some coin or a 10 rupees note in the heaps of garbage. So finding a coin intensifies their curiosity to search for more. So in the fifth point, we see that the writer explains the situation of Simapuri and its people, who all are spreaders and who are totally dependent upon the rag picking, and the children and their parents are compelled to pick the rags just to survive, and they are forced to survive here because their land or their birthplace become totally unproductive. So they are here now and they are just earning their livelihood, they are earning their bread only through rag picking. Now I am coming to the sixth point, and the sixth point is Sai wants to play tennis. Now here what happens, one day the writer is going somewhere, she finds Sai standing in front of a neighboring club, standing in front of the tennis court, standing in front of the gate of the tennis court. He is watching through the gate two people who are playing tennis. Sai, when writer comes near Sai tells us that he also wants to play that game, but he is not lucky enough to participate in that game. But he says to the writer that sometimes he goes inside the tennis court when there is no one inside the tennis court. The watchman allows him to in and enjoy the swing inside the tennis court. So in the sixth point, we see that Sai has a dream to play tennis, but he is not lucky enough to participate in that game. Now I am coming to the second point, the seventh point, or the second last point of this first part. And the second point is his dream of wearing tennis uniform comes true. In the second meeting, when the writer goes somewhere, she finds Sai wearing a tennis uniform along with the shoes of tennis player. When she finds Sai in the uniform of tennis, Sai tells her that he has got the shorts and the shirt and the shorts which are totally discolored, and shoes from a boy who is from a rich family who has discarded them because the uniform has become discolored and in the shoes there was a hole. Writer, here we can say that Sai never saw a pair of shoes or slipper till this time. So when he got a pair of shoes, even though one of them is a hole, he becomes very happy of wearing that tennis uniform or the shoes having hole. The writer thinks that perhaps Sai has got these shoes from a heap of garbage. In the seventh meeting, we can say that Sai's dream of wearing tennis uniform, though the uniform is discolored, or faded or torn, yet he becomes very happy. Now I am coming to the last and eighth point. In the last meeting, what happens? Writer goes somewhere and she meets Saib. Saib is going to milk booth carrying a steel canister in his hand. When writer goes to Saib, Saib tells the writer that now he has stopped picking the garbage. Now he has discarded the work of picking the garbage and has started working in a tea stall, where the owner of that tea stall pays him 800 rupees a month along with the food that he requires. While Saib says these sentences to the writer notices his face that the carefree look of Saib has lost from his face. Now he is not looking happy, though he is paid 800 rupees a month. She says to us that perhaps Saib is not feeling better there working as a tea server or worker in a tea cellar, worker in a tea shop. Perhaps Saib is feeling that he has become a slave. He has to follow the orders of the tea owner. Now the carrying of the steel canister is heavier than the carrying of the garbage bags that he used to carry earlier. Because the garbage box that he used to carry earlier was his own, and that steel canister now he is carrying belongs to the owner of the tea stall. So in the 8 points, the writer says that though Saib is paid 800 rupees a month and also the food, but he is not happy working at the tea stall because now he feels that he has become a slave. So through these 8 points, I have here just given you an image of the first part. In these 8 points, I have tried to just explain to you each and every line of the first part. Now I am giving few questions regarding these 8 points, and I am just writing the question here. So take out your copies and pens and note these questions in your books and try to answer them. And if you find any difficulties answering the question, you can ask me the answer. The first question is from the first point. What promise does the writer make to Saib? First question. Second one is from the second point, and the second question is, why does the writer feels embarrassed? And what does he realize? What does she realize? Third question is, what is irony? And what does Saib's full name mean. Fourth question is from the fourth point, and the question is here: what does the writer conclude about their not wearing footwear? Not wearing footwear. Fifth question is from the fifth point, and the question is here: who are called squatters? Who are called squatters, and why does the writer calls all people of Simapuri squatters? Sixth question is: why does rag picking vary from children to their parents, to their parents? Seventh question is: which game does Saif wants to play? And why is he why does he feels miserable? And the last question is from the 8th point: why is Sahib not happy working at the tea stall? So I have written here 8 questions. You have to answer these 8 questions within 15 to 20 words or less than 30 words. Answering these questions, just keep the summary in memory, and all the related notes of this chapter have been uploaded in your college websites. So now I am finishing my lecture today. Tomorrow we see you with the explanation of the second part and also regarding some questions.